Hello to my Capricorns. Capricorns, you all, a couple of people actually requested a bonus video for you all. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Also, for those of you all who are over on the Patreon side, for those of you all who are on the Patreon side, your video is up. For those of you all over there on the Patreon side, this is a general reading, so take only what resonates with you all. So hello. Happy Monday. So I believe the moon is in your sign, and then it'll be moving into Aquarius at some point in time. So remember, you are not carrying anybody's emotional baggage on your back. You all are closing out karmic cycles within yourselves. If you're pulling your birth chart, and I encourage you that you do, pull your birth chart, find out what your moon sign is. Your moon sign will help you to answer any questions about yourselves. You really want to pay close attention to your second house, your third house, your sixth house, and your seventh house. That is going to help you with your self-worth. That's going to help you with really valuing yourself. It's going to help you with uncovering any hidden enemies, even if you're an enemy to self. If you have any people around you that feel some kind of way about you getting your downloads, if you're carrying anybody else's emotional baggage, and all those other things, right? So you can close out cycles, right? So that you can close out cycles. All right. Capricorns. So, of course, you all know that when people request bonus videos, I don't mind. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. So, yeah, those houses actually, because we have two planets that are retrograde, Venus and Mercury. So, get excited when planets go retrograde. Don't buy into all of the negative that you hear about planetary retrogrades that you hear out there in the world. You know, when people say Mercury retrograde, oh my God, Mercury retrograde. Get excited because planets don't move backwards. They don't move at a slower pace. It gives you an opportunity to slow down and learn about, planetary retrogrades. You all roll 10th house, North Node, right? 10th house is all about career, life goals, achievement, public image, the masculine aspect of ourselves, technology, the future. And so your sun sign is the masculine aspect of ourselves. So that really shines a light on, us. It shines a light on us. But the feminine aspect is the moon side. And so you don't want to miss that part. That uncovers secrets about ourselves, right? But it also lets you know, like, who's a secret enemy. Who's a secret? Are you a secret enemy of yourself? Who's a secret enemy of you? So you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that, right? So the second house connects us with personal resources, money habits, possessions, values, financial security, self-worth, income. Third house is about early education, intelligence, sibling interaction. By the way, second house connects us to Venus, in case you want to take notes. Third house connects us with early education, intelligence, sibling interaction. Whether you have siblings or not, it can be like siblings. Sometimes people say play brother, play sister. This is like my sister, like my brother. Doesn't matter if you have blood siblings or not. Connects you with logic, reason, communication skills. How you send out communication skills, whether it's verbal, nonverbal, facial expressions, telepathy, emails, text message, all of that's communication, right? Short trips, hobbies, right? That's third house. That connects us with Mercury, right? Sixth house connects us with Mercury, right? That's health, work habits, daily routines, fitness, pets, right? Service to others, your diet, your spiritual practices. Again, You're going to slow down to see if there's any differences between you and others, if people are still in a karmic cycle with themselves as it relates to others' spiritual practices and your spiritual practices, that there's a difference. That may be the turning point in your relationships with people. So slow down. That's the beauty of retrogrades, right? And then seventh house, marriage, relationships, partnerships, business contracts, inner desires, enemies, right? So somebody could have a lease, whether it's an auto lease, a mortgage. Maybe your mortgage is about to be paid off on your house. Maybe you have an apartment lease that's coming up. You're thinking about renewing or not renewing your lease. All of those things, slow down. Maybe you're thinking about buying thinking about purchasing something. This is a great time to reread. That's a form of communication. So that is the beauty of Mercury retrograde. Okay, so that is why I like to teach the way I like to teach. Don't be an enemy to yourself because you're rushing around and letting other people, steal your time, right? Because they in a karmic cycle with themselves, causing a bunch of anxiety in your life. So you got 24 hours in a day. Slow down. Slow down. All right. This is a bonus general reading. Again, thank you for requesting bonus videos. Ooh, here we go. I already prayed over your cards. I radiate love and light. That's right. Keep radiating love and light. Doesn't matter what the temperature is or what the weather is in your area. If it's raining, see it as a blessing. If it's ever raining wherever you live, that is Source's way of reminding you to water yourself from within, right? To cleanse from within. Everything outside of you is a form of cleansing, right? If it's sunny outside, that's also cleansing, right? Cleanse outside of you. Water is a form of cleansing. It's like washing off the trees, washing off the grass. It's a form of cleansing, right? It's reminding you, don't forget to drink your water, right? Don't look at it as a negative. Oh my God, it's raining. It's going to be an inconvenience in driving. No. Remember when, if it's raining, well, first of all, when the moon is we're in a waning crescent moon, and it affects your backbone, your joints, your knee, your skin, your hair, and then it's going to move into, it's in your zodiac sign. If you're watching this on Monday, and if it's Tuesday in your part of the world, the moon would have moved into Aquarius. It affects your calves, your ankle, shin, Achilles. If you have some kind of like flare-up condition, if it's raining or something like that, that may just also be an indicator that some kind of inflammation, something is going on. That may be something that you want to look into. Maybe make an appointment, right? So with your healthcare provider. So maybe you're carrying around some kind of stress or something, carrying somebody else's stress around, right? So continue radiating love and light. Continue radiating love and light. All right. Let's get into it. Just trying to cover all the bases, trying to help you all really step into this new moon and this solar eclipse and very healthy closeout cycles in love and light. Continue radiating love and light, right? All right. Let's go. Talking to you wherever Capricorn is in your birth chart. That's right. You're coming out of a karmic cycle. This number 8 right here. Coming out of a karmic cycle in a very meek way. Somebody got you roped into something. They got you roped into a lie by lying to you. Somebody put you in a survival mode situation by lying to you. So Leo rules 5th house. This is Leo's card here. So a Leo got you roped into a karmic situation with two people. And it was so Leo rules 5th house. 5th house is all about romance, creativity, children, projects, some kind of fun, self-expression, hobbies, something that makes you feel good, right? So I don't know what Leo, or you could have Leo somewhere in your birth chart. It could have been a Leo, or it could have been something in your 5th house. Remember, all the answers are within you. So find out what your sign is in your 5th house. but something that you felt that made you feel good, maybe through something creative, something that was romantic. And remember, we talked about how people can put love spells on people in your previous reading, right? How people can put love spells. They don't have to be physically intimate with you. It can be talking to you through words, through communication. And that's what I'm talking about, slowing down. Some people can be promising you some things, getting you involved in some things creatively, and get you roped into some stuff, and you're in a karmic cycle. And let's take it back to the 7th house. Get you caught into some kind of contractual agreement, right? And you find out that some energies are secret enemies to some energies, and then you realize what? You have been sacrificed. This right here, you found out you've been sacrificed. Now you under some kind of judgment, or that you sacrificed somebody else, and you're under some kind of judgment because somebody was obsessed with something. Hidden here is an obsession. That is why this right here, these two things right here, are connected to water, right? Water connects us to the feminine aspect of ourselves, right? Divine feminine aspect. But there's also the other side of it is toxic feminine energy. We're not talking about women. We're talking about we all embody divine masculine to divine feminine energy, right? This is a divine masculine sign, so which is ruled by the sun. So source is saying to you, that is why it's important to make sure you pour into yourselves so that you can break a karmic cycle. What's hidden in this is death, right? What's hidden in this is death. So somebody has you in some kind of a karmic cycle where they are obsessed with a destiny swap between you and someone else, right? They're trying to sacrifice. Somebody's been talking about sacrificing you and someone else, destiny swapping you and someone else, right? Here's a King of Swords here. You see this owl right here? This is knowledge, but someone has full knowledge of it. This could be a man or woman. Someone is well aware of what is going on. So that's good news. That is good news. At least one person needs to be completely aware of what's going on. Somebody needs to be fully aware of what's going on, right? So even if you are, you're an earth sign, Capricorn, and I'm gonna slow down again for those of you all who are new to sex magic, right? Because a lot of people are not really aware. You think you have to be physically engaged in this kind of stuff for people to really understand how it works. People are into some dark stuff out here, really, really dark, just dark. I mean, yeah, just the evil stuff that people are in. It's just not even it. It would just really make your stomach turn. But people who have kids, you better alert your kids, especially young adults. And people are getting younger and younger out here in these schools and stuff, and not teaching their kids. They're thinking, just evil stuff. Like, that's why when I talk to people and they're like, I want closure. Learn how to close out cycles yourselves. Stop waiting for somebody to call you back and close out cycles, because somebody got you looped into something and you're still waiting for some physical existence of something. You're still waiting for some kind of closure. But it looks like you may be fully aware of, or somebody is fully aware of, you could be this person here now that's fully aware. You could be fully aware that you were sacrificed, or that somebody could be fully aware that they were being sacrificed. So this 8, there's when you turn it, this 2 right here, that 2 people were being sacrificed, right? And then you see 2 here. just to add value to two people's lives. So whenever you add 0 behind a number, it adds value to a number. Two people felt like they needed to, for people to rise above judging them, they needed to add value to their lives by doing some kind of a destiny swap, because they were being judged for something. Two people were being judged for being in a very unhealthy relationship, right? Something that society would probably be deemed as unhealthy, right? Probably something that society would deem as, they would judge it. They would judge what kind of a relationship people would deem as being an unhealthy relationship. Right? It's a whole lot of relationships that people would deem as unhealthy, right? Right? And a lot of people have an idea what that would be. Y'all figure it out. Y'all figure it out. Don't sit here acting clueless, What would people deem as an unhealthy relationship? What would cross a line that would be deemed unhealthy? That if a light is shining on something, right, this would be considered as the moon, this would be considered as the sun. If somebody be secretive relationship that would cross a line, right? Maybe somebody's sleeping with somebody's ex, that would be deemed as unhealthy and wounded, and somebody found out about it, like, oh my God, like if the family found out. So we got to move away so that people don't find out what's going on. But we got to swap. We still, something is so demonic and so wicked and evil in this situation right here that there's a destiny swap going on here. That's what I'm looking at here in the cards. And somebody has an idea. It's not even an idea. Somebody already knows. Somebody already knows. Somebody already knows. So that's what's happening here in the cards. And that's why someone's moving on. That's why somebody is already moving on. So you could be at a crossroad. You could be at a crossroad. So let me slow down again with this thing here. So there's a very unhealthy relationship going on between two energies. That's very demonic. That's someone tried to get you roped into. But again, that's why I talk about water so much on my channel, Capricorn. For people who are just still looking at it through the lens of just your eyeballs, you can't see something until you see it with your eyeballs. That's why it's important for you to get your rest. That is why it's important for you to tap into the divine feminine side of yourselves, which I think I mentioned one time before on my channel. This is why it's important for you to pull your birth chart. Like I say, almost every single time I pull up do my readings and teach the way that I teach, because and it's important that when you're engaging in relationships with people, to not rely on other people's intuition, to listen to your own. Men have intuition just like women do. You hear it's women intuition, but that's a spell, because men have intuition too. Men have intuition too. You don't just rely on women's intuition, men. You have intuition too. You have dreams and downloads, daydreams, night dreams. There are looking at the cards here, somebody could have been involved with someone who maybe still, this is fire energy, and I'm seeing somebody still carrying some baggage. Somebody could be still carrying family baggage, because this is generational. And Capricorn, some of you all don't realize that some of you all could have dated someone who is still carrying generational baggage, which means that you could have been in a relationship with someone who could be still carrying baggage from a parent, their parent, somebody you were dating, their parent could have been still carrying baggage from somebody they were in a relationship with, that they're still angry with, that they passed that down to their child, and their child is resentful towards you because the parent never closed out a karmic cycle with somebody that they're mad at. That would be like you dating a woman who is carrying her mother's anger, and the mother is still mad at a man who didn't want her, or you carry, or vice versa, or you dating a man who is still carrying his father's anger towards a woman who didn't want him. That is just crazy. Somebody didn't close out a karmic cycle, and they literally making their child carry the baggage, and the child is walking around feeling like they got the weight of the world. They don't even have a chance to be in a healthy relationship, and they making the person that they care, they don't even have a chance to be in a healthy relationship, and they making the next person carry this baggage around, and they can't even be in a healthy relationship. They don't even know what a healthy relationship look like. So source is saying you are moving on from something, because somebody is being bullied in a situation here, because somebody is tired of being in a karmic cycle where somebody is just like a lot of hostility in something, and you don't even know where the hostility is coming from these two energies, because they have something, these two energies, whoever these two energies are, they're still holding on to something unresolved. They're still in a karmic cycle within themselves. And so you finally moving on because something is becoming clear. You're starting to see something that for some reason something wasn't clicking for you. They're in toxic feminine energy. That's toxic feminine energy. They have not resolved something within themselves, and that's what toxic feminine energy looks like. So you being at a crossroad trying to figure out what the heck did I do wrong, that's toxic feminine energy. You trying to radiate love and light, and you trying to say, well, what did I do wrong? Just confused. That's what when people are in and it looks like it's just a toxic relationship, like two karmics are together, but it's really people who have toxic, like it's a karma that they haven't resolved within themselves and got you right in the middle of something. So saying that's why I'm telling y'all, when I'm talking about pulling your birth chart, I'm not saying it just to say it. I'm trying to help you all to stop waiting until you physically see something to believe it. Keep your vibrations high. Keep your vibrations high. Speak positivity over your light. Radiate love and light. When you're even if people think that you're being phony, wake up, set an intention every single day. If you're at a crossroad and you're confused and people think that you're just too high vibrational, so it's just like, then that's not the energy you need to be with. Rise above the judgment. Rise above it. Do your own shadow work. This could be a man or woman, by the way. But you're moving on. Do your own shadow work. Stop walking around like you feel like it's toxic masculine energy to feel like you got to carry everybody else's weight of the world on. It's not your responsibility. I just keep saying, if you're new to my channel, you hear me saying this for the first time, but if you're coming back, this is not the first time I said it. Somebody feels like they're in competition with everybody, like they're in competition with the world. That is not your responsibility to carry the baggage on your shoulder. You've already been an open book. You shouldn't have to feel like you're walking on eggshells. You've already said everything you needed to say. This is the Page of Swords. It's like you're not moving fast enough. All of this air up here, All of this air up here lets me know that someone is literally basically telling somebody that they're not talking enough, they're not thinking fast enough, they're not moving fast enough, and you all are a divine feminine zodiac sign, right? So you need time to process your thoughts. You need time to process your thoughts. And I'll go back to what divine feminine energy means. You know, exactly what divine feminine energy means. For those of you all who did not get it, you know, really hear it the first time, you know what it is. Yeah, but that's what this is. That's what this is. I feel like this new you, now that you're sitting on the throne, King of Swords, having full knowledge that being an open book too soon, too fast with familiar spirits is really a detriment. It literally can backfire. Like literally you're when people trying to get familiar about loved ones too fast, and you being an open book actually backfires on you big time. It backfires on you big time. It actually causes you to it should be a big question mark in your mind. It really should be a big question mark in your mind. It's like, who are they working for? It should be a question mark in your mind. Who are they working for? Why they need to know all of this information so fast, right? Divine feminine energy is spiritual, is philosophical concept that represents qualities traditionally associated with femininity, but it's intuition, it's compassion, it's creativity, it's very nurturing, it's receptivity, it's flow and connection to nature. It's not tied to gender, so it's not tied to sex or identity. It holds both divine feminine and divine masculine energies. It's connected to moon, water, the earth. So when you say divine feminine energy, some people automatically think it's sexuality. It has nothing to do with that. So, you know, it's somebody that, so you could have a woman who is really not comfortable in her divine feminine energy, and she could be straight and she's not connected, she's not comfortable in her divine feminine energy. She could literally have been raised by a woman who's not comfortable in her divine feminine energy, and it could be for a lot of reasons. And she could be straight, she could identify as heterosexual, and she could, for a lot of reasons. Maybe she was with somebody who chose somebody else. Who knows? It could be a man who is heterosexual, who, is not comfortable in his divine feminine energy because somebody told him that he was misinformed. Who knows? Who knows? But Source is saying to you, when you come across a man or woman who is not comfortable in their divine feminine energy and you are well informed, you don't need to sit there and be on the receiving end of abuse, period. Point blank, period. A man or woman, it doesn't need. And as a parent, if you're a parent of a boy or girl, you need to teach them that very early, that they are being sacrificed very early. They don't need to sit there just like this right here. They don't need to sit there at a crossroad forever wondering anything. In a very meek way, they need to detach. That's karmic. They don't need to sit there confused. They need to get the message very early on. This right here is karmic number. They don't need to sit there confused. They need to get to safety. Because this right here is generational. And this is a generational curse that somebody is breaking. You're learning how to move on. You're learning how to move on. calmly move on away from a storm. Because now you're on top of something. You feel very fortunate to get it. You're not slow. Nothing is wrong with you. None of those things. Somebody is carrying some kind of animosity, stress, anger, whatever. They are not in tune with their divine feminine side of themselves. And that's something that they need to work on. Whoever it is, that's something they need to work on. So I see you moving on from something. I don't know if it's a job. I don't know what you're working on, but you're creating something new. You're learning how to protect your water. So and radiate love and life. Yeah, here we have the Four of Wands here. So I feel like somebody is this could be at someone's job. I don't know if it's someone's job. You could be, I don't know if somebody could have a hostile manager or something. I don't know. But this could be both in your personal and your professional life. It could be somewhere. But wherever you are, whether it's your personal or your professional life or both or whatever, whoever is not comfortable, because a lot of people are just now learning, and that's another thing too. But whatever environment you're in, when people are not comfortable with their divine feminine self, Source is saying to you, educate yourself and learn how to increase your prayer and meditation life. So let's see what else we got going on here before we go ahead and close this out here. So yeah, so continue radiating love and light, looking at your cards here, and be very careful about, because like I said, I see somebody moving on, and this could be, like I said, both in your personal and your professional life. Misery loves company. You all have ideas. Other people have ideas, but recognize, excuse me, you know, when we see destiny swap, and this is something that, again, you're working on, something that you all are working on. Something that you all are working on. Yeah. This is where you know your worth and you know your value, right? This is where you speak to second house. This is second house. So second house, Taurus actually rules second house. Somebody could have, you know, look at where your second house is. Second house speaks to personal resources, money habits, possessions, values, financial security, self-worth, and also your income. And this is where you know your value. You know your work and your worth and your value, right? And so you don't let somebody else tell you that you're worth and your value. When you know your worth and your value, you don't let somebody else compare your worth and your value to someone else's, their families to your families. You know, whether it's your moms to their moms, their dads to your dads, your grandparents to their grandparents. You know what I'm saying? You're not in opposition to someone you're in a relationship with, right? Even if, you know, your parents are divorced or your grandparents are divorced, or you have step siblings or whatever the case may be, or your aunts and uncles are comparing this or whatever the case may be. So it's just saying all of that competing and comparison, everybody has their own star to follow. Everybody has their own star to follow. When you start hearing all of that judging, competing, comparing mess, somebody has something unresolved in their spirit. And so it's saying you don't get yourself entangled in that mess. You move on. That means somebody is being sacrificed, and there's already enough sacrifices being made, right? So you're on top of something. So that, just like I said, you're incredibly smart. You see things from a higher frequency, and you feel incredibly lucky. Somebody feels blessed and highly favored. You're incredibly lucky, incredibly smart, right? You're down to earth, and this could be man or woman, right? Because remember, all of this is genderless. Incredibly smart, down to earth, relatable. You've gone down a rabbit hole of sorts, and you know, like I said, down to earth, relatable. Everybody goes down a rabbit hole, and this is where you can relate to every human being on planet Earth. And this is why I always tell people, Don't necessarily compare your journey to somebody else's as if somebody else is better than you are. It doesn't matter how old or, I would assume if you're watching this video, you're over 18 years old. But this is where you don't beat yourself up. Because when we see the Judgment card, this is a generational planet. This is a generational planet. This is Neptune. This is Pluto. These are generational planets. Both of these are generational planets. If you judge yourself by what your ancestors had to come through, you could be the generational curse breaker. You literally could be the generational curse breaker of somebody who has done things for 8, 9, 10, 15, 20 generations. So how in the world would you know? If you're just now waking up, if your mom or dad are just now waking up, you're comparing yourself to somebody else who could be a generational curse breaker, So Source is saying, if you putting that kind of pressure on yourself, or you letting somebody else put that kind of pressure on yourself, on you, yeah, that kind of confusion, then yeah, you don't need to be friends with them, nothing. I see you in the saddle, back in the saddle again. A lot of people are maturing, and a lot of people are getting back in this. This is where your ruling planet Saturn comes into play. You are ruled by a very serious planet. Saturn is the planet of maturity and authority. And so this is where a lot of people are maturing and becoming more authoritative. This is where you learn how to use your fire properly, Capricorn. And this is why you're moving on from being bullied. This is where you're becoming a lot more. This is where you're doing your shadow work. This is why you all are doing your shadow work. So yeah, divine feminine energy is just as powerful as divine masculine energy. Just as powerful as. Nobody wants to be with a toxic person, period. Period. Nobody wants to be with a toxic person, period. Doesn't matter whether it's man, woman. We all embody divine masculine and divine feminine. We can tap into, both within one body. So I do see you allowing Source to fight your battles. I see you will no longer see meekness as being weak when you move on. I see you learning how to, not feeling like you're walking on eggshells around people anymore. Right? Here we have the 8 of Pentacles here. So I see you mastering your craft, being very passionate about what you're doing, high standards. I see you returning back to your throne. Here we have the 8 of Cups here. I see you just kind of sort of walking away from, karmics. People who have succumbed to passive and powerless. I see you walking away from energies who have succumbed to passive and powerless energy in egotistical, materialistic, and forceful ways. Yeah, closing out a cycle. This is the World card. This is Saturn. World card, which again is a generational planet, right? Creating your own, right? Your own tradition. This is what you're doing, creating your own tradition, right? Generational. Again, you're learning how to create your own thing. This is how people learn how to create their own generation. You say, I'm going to take a little bit from here, and here. I'm going to do what works best for me. You don't have to hate on this one. You don't have to, oh, they doing it wrong. They doing it wrong. You just say, okay, this works for me. This works best 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 for me. Some people feel like they have to extinguish other people's stuff. They have to bully other people into doing stuff their way or the highway, and make other people feel bad for doing stuff a certain way. Make people feel bad for wanting to do things a certain way until they just move on, like bully people. So I see a lot of your wishes being fulfilled just because you're finally just, like I said, moving on from something and adding structure and authority to things. This is you. Yeah. You respect the way people do stuff that they want to do stuff, but you're doing stuff the way you want to do stuff for you. Yeah. Yeah, you're protecting your peace. You're protecting your peace. So this is a Justice card. So the Justice card is, it speaks to Libra. So we're not talking about any Libras that you know, right? This is a win-win for you. So win-win with this, a Libra rules 7th house, so we're crystal clear. So find out what your 7th house is. Remember I said Venus and Mercury are retrograde. So what's important right now for you to slow down and pay attention to is your 2nd and 7th house. Libra is 7th house. Taurus rules 2nd house. 7th house is over marriage, relationships, partnerships, business contracts, inner desires, and enemies. You don't want to be your own worst enemy, right? By feeling like you're under anybody's thumb who feels like it's their way or the highway, right? This is only one cookie cutter way to do it, meaning that you're doing it like, that's literally like you have their birth chart in your hand, and so you got to do it their birth chart way, even though your birth chart way is different, right? So their north node is different than your north node, but yet they're telling you this is your life purpose, even though your north node says your life purpose is something different. Your moon is different than their moon, so you got to pour into yourselves different than they pour into them, the same way they pour into themselves. That doesn't even make sense, right? So source is saying you have to do what works best for you, and people have to respect how you do what works best for you, right? People who love you will respect that you have to do what works best for you. So that's how I'm trying to simplify it in the best possible way. And until you get to a point where you structure things the way you need to structure things, that works best for you, and you're in a space. That's why I said source is going to put you in a space where you're going to get a chance to kind of sort of relax and do some things that work best for you. Take a minute to just kind of sort of do some things that work best for you. Take advantage of being in a space where you can do some things that work best for you. Take advantage of that. So if source gives you an opportunity to get to a place where you can do some things that work best for you, then take advantage of that, right? 10 of Swords. Yeah. Yeah, but you move on from feeling like you have, you got to get to a point where you feel like you feel complete, like you have completely hit rock bottom, where people feel like, everybody has talked about you, like you just, you got 10 swords stuck in your back, like you just can't get it, like you've already seen what that looks like in loved ones, with loved ones. You've seen that, what it looks like generationally, what it does to people. You've seen that in your own family already. You see what it does to people. You see how painful that is when you see loved ones be talked about like a dog. You see what that does to people. They don't want to get out of the bed. they depressed, they're sad, and people say that they love them. Oh, we gotta go check on somebody, and everybody's standing around talking, waiting for a phone call to come in. So source is saying, don't just, see it from a higher frequency from now on. Balance it out within yourself. Start learning how to see something from a higher frequency. Yeah. So source is saying, you got some guardian angels that's helping you to learn how to not fall for the bait. Not fall for that bait of just caring so much about what people say about you behind your back. Yeah, people who see you as rivals, people who try to, create some kind of competition, and my family's better than yours and all of this other stuff. Well, then that's where you need to be. If you feel like your family better, okay, all right, cool. Get off the fence. That's what you say, your spirit needs to get off the fence. I'm looking at this. 6 and 5 is 11. 11 means you're getting off the fence, of just saying, okay, that's where you take action and say, okay, somebody's family is better, cool, not a problem. I'm not arguing with you. You know what? You're right. Maybe your family is better. So let me just get off the fence and move on. Maybe your family is better. Maybe it's time for me to break a generational cycle, chain, and curse, and stop taking so long to process my thoughts. And if your family is better, then, maybe I need to work on me and stop taking so long to overthink something. And save myself. This is Knight of Cups. Maybe I need to stop taking so long and stop overthinking if your family is better than mine. Because if it's a competition up front, if you're telling me it's a competition up front, then I don't want to be in a relationship where it's a competition. So, yeah, let's go with what you said, which is okay. So I can go ahead and move on right now. Let me save myself right now. So I feel like somebody has a new relationship, coming across your path. So you're saving yourself, right? You're not falling for that bait anymore. And in terms of like someone seeing, you as a rival, you're seeing it right up front from now on. You went through something, you're not doing that anymore. Just in a friendship, romantic relationship, at work, none of that. That's something you broke in a generational cycle, chain, and curse. You got that. You got your doctorate in that at this point. You can see that coming. Anybody that comparing their complexion, facial features, toenails, fingernails, hair texture, whatever, their family, their height, anything. Somebody has had such a painful experience with comparing their education, their kids, dog, cat, a ball of lint, anything, their house, zip code, whatever, somebody is over it at this point. You're not falling for it anymore. So you've learned how to save yourself. That's a good thing, right? So you got some good news coming across your path. Here was the Page of Cups here, right? So happy surprise coming across your path. You're not going back to the emotionally immature comments or whatever, right? So I know this reading is pretty lengthy here for you all, but you're just, like I said, somebody is all about radiating love and light. And this is what breaking generational cycles, chains, and curses looks like. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Something has come full circle. This is the World card. Something has come full circle. You're not hating on anybody. You're keeping something high vibrational. This is why you started out this King of Swords here. This is why you started out King of Swords. You're high vibrational. Yeah, here's the Nine of Wands here. You're just not going back to that anymore. Falling for the bait anymore. You're not falling for the bait anymore. Yep. You love yourself too much. You made a decision to love you. That's what you made a decision. Yeah. To balance it out. Your worth. You're not exhausting yourself anymore. You're just not doing it. So somebody had to go through a cycle. That's what this is. Somebody had to go through a cycle of just learning self-love, learning your worth, and learning your self-love. So, all right. Okay. All right. That's what this is. Let me see if there's anything else, anything else, anything else, anything else. So again, hopefully somebody's not beating themselves up. You know, hopefully somebody is not beating themselves up over any of this. Yep, hopefully somebody's not beating themselves up over any of this. Yeah. Yep, you're surrendering to the divine. Yep, to the divine. I'm surrendering to the divine. Somebody is getting a health checkup. Somebody is also getting a health checkup because there may have been so much confusion going on about a lot of different things you may have been confused about. Remember, like I said before, yeah, the moon, like I said, the moon, when you watch this video, since it's a bonus video, could affect your backbone, your joints, your knees, your skin, your hair, you know, those kind of things. And then when the moon moves into Aquarius, it could affect your calf, your ankle, your shin, your Achilles, those kind of things. You know, again, somebody could be dehydrated, you know, just emotionally just dehydrated. Maybe they haven't had enough water, maybe just drinking too many sugary drinks. Could just be spiritually just dehydrated for real. Could have been had so much anxiety. So having a health checkup could just feel like, you know, almost just feeling like you just could be just spiritually just dehydrated for real. Just a bunch of confusion. Could have just been around a lot of confusion. So I feel like somebody has enough information. This is the King of Pentacles here. I feel like somebody has enough information right now. Enough information. You know, enough information. Yeah, I have enough information. Or you will be getting enough information. Let me see. Is there anything else that I need? Anything else in the cards? Oh. All right. This, like I said, this reading is very, very lengthy. Yeah. But I feel like somebody is just not on this negative, low vibration energy. I mean, at all. But that's, like I said, you have some guardian angels watching over you. Something is, like I said, something is going to feel like a win-win for you. You're rising above the judgment. So, you know, you got these generational planets here. Something is generational. I really want you all, Capricorns, I'm talking to you wherever Capricorn is in your birth chart. And like I said, if you're all on the Patreon side, that video is already up. It's been up for a while, I think. To stop beating yourselves up over generational stuff. That's kind of common for everybody who are breaking generational cycles, chains, and curse. All that stuff sounds good. Oh my God, I'm the generational curse breaker. I'm the first person in my family to do such and such. But I'm telling you, it's not easy to break generational cycles, chains, and curses. It really is not, because it sounds good. But if you're the first person to do anything in your family, you're actually going up against a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Because you're the first to do it. Some people, sometimes you're going up against, you know, loved ones who feel like their child should have done it first. So it could be aunts and uncles who feel like their kids should have done it before you do it. Or you could be going up against, you know, you could be in a friendship circle where somebody Feels like it's just so much stuff you could be going up against that you're thinking that, you don't know what kind of adversities people face. So people can have money problems and they can't finish it. But something for you has come full circle. Something for you and somebody has come full circle. Yeah, so, yeah, you have enough, like I said, you have enough information at this point. Something has come full circle. So, yeah. Yeah, like I said, you got good news coming across your path. I do see soulmate, in your life. You got like guardian angels all around you, energies that just see things from a higher frequency. And that's the good news. Soulmate are kindred spirits. So they don't always mean love interest, just so we're crystal clear. I gotta clear that up when I talk about soulmate, because people think soulmate, love interest. Soulmates are kindred spirits, around you. Kindred spirits. Right? So stay focused. Stay focused. This is not a person that's running away from anything. The energy just help you to stay focused. Helping you to just really, really stay focused so that you can wake up from nightmares, that you don't have to keep repeating, keep talking about the same nightmares where you're putting a spell on yourself. Keep talking about the same thing over and over and over again. And just knowing that you got backing so that you know that you're a prayer warrior. That's what this is. Somebody's a prayer warrior. So, yeah. All right. Hopefully this has been helpful. But, yeah, take that pressure off of yourselves, Capricorns. Take that pressure off of yourselves. Of, keep, take that pressure off yourself. Surrender to the divine masculine and divine feminine within yourselves. That's how you're going to balance things out. That's how you're going to balance things out. Nobody has all the answers. That's why we go to the Creator. That's why we have the Creator. That's why we go to Source. So continue radiating love and light. Hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you for requesting a bonus video. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully this has been learning for someone. And like I said, you have your information on the other side. But yeah, it's time that the 2 and 6 is 8. This health checkup and all of this fire in the cards lets me know that somebody has been drained from carrying other people's emotional baggage, on your back. That's what this is. I mean, to a point of just exhaustion. You've been carrying other people's emotional baggage on your back. It could be friends. It could be like literally generational baggage, emotional baggage on your back. And it's time to release it. It really is time to release it. All right. That's what I have for you. All right. Make it a great week. Bye.